Picture it, 25 years ago, the bourbon industry establishes the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It's, of course, a way of connecting distilleries across the Commonwealth and enhancing Kentucky's bourbon tourism industry.
GMK bourbon and beer correspondent Jim Stratman spoke with 3 distilleries to hear how the trail has impacted them.
Bourbon comes from all over Kentucky, from the hustle and bustle of Whiskey Row to the serene fields of Loretto and even just off the interstate in Shelbyville. The trail attracted 2.5 million visitors to Kentucky just last year.
76% of the people that come to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail are from outside Kentucky. A big draw that, we built this with the intention of being part of.
So the idea of organizing the various distilleries, the experiences, the restaurants, the bars that celebrated Kentucky bourbon and Kentucky culture has been so powerful.
Rob Samuels at Maker's Mark knows all about that impact. Makers joined the trail on day 1 back in 1999.
We were hosting visitors for decades prior to the Bourbon Trail. Maker's Mark, from day 1, thought differently about sharing what my grandparents had created.
What they created would become one of the most well-known bourbon brands in the world, grossing $22.6 million in revenue just last year. Samuel says the bourbon was his grandfather's passion, but the distillery, the farm, that was his grandmother's vision.
She created the name, she designed the bottle. She also is credited with formalizing bourbon tourism.
Makers was the first to invite the public along to see how they make their bourbon. Now they're expanding outside of just distillation, with experiences encompassing all of Star Hill Farm.
Whiskey's agricultural. And when you try to really appreciate and understand where flavor comes from, flavor comes through with regenerative agriculture. And it wasn't that long ago when what success looked like was just the best possible 75-minute experience here on site. But we have a vision and plan to become a destination.
Jephthah Creed Distillery in Shelbyville is doing the same.
Well, we actually designed the distillery for tourism specifically because there was a bourbon trail.
Jephthah joined the trail in 2016, the same year that they opened.
We intended to be a bourbon distillery from the very beginning.
But aging bourbon takes time.
So we opened up with vodka and moonshine. So that actually made it quite a challenge to be a bourbon distillery on the bourbon trail without bourbon on the shelf.
Since then, Jephthah has leaned into its role on the trail, being an attraction.
That we are bringing tourists in to come and visit. So we're kind of a stop for those tourists. Through this stop, they get to experience Shelby County, and while they're here, they ask about, well, where can we go for lunch? Where can we have dinner? Where can we stay if we want to come back? Or they're already staying at a hotel.
Meaning the trail isn't just for the benefit of each business. The trail benefits Kentucky. Visitors from all over the globe coming here with the Bourbon Trail, guiding their journey for a quarter of a century.
People that can go anywhere and do anything are choosing to come here and soak up the magic of Kentucky.
Jim Stratman, WHAS 11, on your side.
And tourism at its finest. You love to see it.
Bourbonism.
There you go.
We can't overemphasize the financial and economic importance of bourbon. It was the bourbon industry that kept us where we were during the pandemic and kept things open. So it's very impressive. I'm glad we got that on the air.